Welcome all you astrology friends. Welcome to this other video with me, Veerle, Veerle, and it's all gonna be about this upcoming full moon that we're gonna have on round and about the 5th of November. Depending where you're living, around and about the 5th of November, we're gonna have this full moon with the moon at 13 degrees of Taurus. So it's going to be a full moon in Taurus. And of course, a full moon is in opposition. So the moon is going to be at 13 degrees Taurus. And the sun is going to be at 13 degrees of Scorpio, its opposite sign. Every time of the year. So what is this all about? This video is about the flavor. What are the energies? We can always tap into it in a positive way. We can even always, guess what? We can tap into it in a negative way. But of course, we're here to get the most out of life and to enjoy it as much as we can. And I'm going to have a look after the introduction of this energy description. I'm going to talk about for you, if you have your sun sign, your moon sign, or your ascendant sign, in one of the 12 signs, what does it mean having this full moon in your chart? So let's get started. Every time around this time of the year, we have a full moon in Taurus, always. And so full moons are completions. They are things that this is what it is. It's a lot about things getting real, things getting very conscious for us, and some sort of peak moments that we have when we have full moons. Rather than a new moon, it's just more like a planting of a seed. So, okay, we know that this is a time of things coming to fruition. And of course, in the sign of Taurus. What is Taurus all about? Taurus, just like every other sign, has the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's focus on the good side, of course, and let's tap into that energy, because we all are having an opportunity to tap into the energy of the Taurian. And Taurus has some keywords, of course, like it's ruled by Venus. So it's ruled by the beauty of Venus. And if you know someone who's got a sun or a moon or even a rising sign and ascendant in Taurus, these are people who want quality in life, who are very earthly. So they like everything that has to do with the five senses, right? So they're very grounded, down to earth. And they, of course, you're going to say, oh, but I know a Taurian who isn't. But I mean, they can have a moon in Gemini, for instance, and be all over the place. But Taurus in itself, if you have that in your natal chart, you are here to experience those energies and ingredients of stability, of beauty, of money, security. It's representing the second house of the zodiac, right? Of the chart, which means your assets, your value. Maybe that is one of the most important ones. It's about, they are here to develop the qualities of value. And I mean the confidence, the self-confidence, not the confidence that you get because someone else is saying, oh, you're having a nice dress on, or you're doing things very good, you're very competent. No. I mean the Taurian confidence of the self-confidence that comes from the self. And it comes from the qualities and the talents that you develop in a very real way. And but of course, it's although it is a very earthly sign, it's that container. It wants to contain that security that comes from the self. So it's not the security that you get from someone who's giving you money, or to buy something, or someone who's giving you a validation emotionally. No. That's the opposite. That's the 8th house. That's the Scorpio house. Scorpio all has to do with shared resources, value that you get through intimacy, right? So that is the opposition. And of course, we have this opposition now with being the sun in Scorpio and the moon in Taurus. So it's that opposition, which always means a paradox, which always means finding the balance between my value and between your value, between the value I give myself and between the value that I get from other people. It's always nice, of course, that we get validated because of our work or because of whatever. Mostly, hopefully, for the things that you are and not the things that are superficial. But anyway, Taurus is all about quality. It's about the good wine and the beautiful, good quality clothing and the curtains who are from a very good quality and who are very beautiful. It's all of that. Luxury products, very Taurian energy. So massages, everything that also has to do with the body Venus is about enjoying oneself, right? And of course, what is the bad side of Taurus? You already know it, or the pitfall, you could say, that we all are going to feel more now. The temptation is the downside of it, which is always the going over the top of the good qualities. You get into the downside of things, right? It works that way. It's indulgence. It's, indulgence. And it's also the pitfall of the Taurian energy is also that it kind of resists change, right? It's a fixed sign. And of course, they say Taurian, they are a bit stubborn and, they are very, when there's drama all over the place, they are the ones who are not really getting into the drama quickly. But the thing is that because of that, again, if you go too far with that, someone with a strong Taurian energy, and we have to look out for this because we are all going to experience this Taurian energy. The downside is that if we are in a bad situation, whatever it is, a relationship, a job, a situation, the Taurian, because they tend to stick to the bad situation because they like comfort so much, they're not going to get easily out of that. They prefer actually and that's really a sad thing, they prefer the known situation that is discomfortable actually, but that it's known before a new situation that is unknown and that is 10 times better for them. But again, you have still Uranus in your sign. Remember, Taurians. And remember us as well, who all have Taurus somewhere in our chart, that we have Uranus there still working for us up until April of next year. So we have to be careful that just because we get in the comfort zone, there's no growth, right? So that is a bit like, I rather prefer watching Netflix all day with a good glass of wine and some very quality good snacks instead of growing, right? So you can't grow if you're all comfortable. That's period, right? You can only grow if you're going through some challenges. And that is, of course, the opposite sign of Scorpio, because Scorpio, although it's also a fixed sign, and we have the sun there at 13 degrees of Scorpio, it also doesn't like to grow, or not to say to grow, but it doesn't like to give up its position that it is in, because it's also very scared of losing control. But at a certain time, it becomes too much, and then they break through. That's typical Scorpio energy. So a very early energy in itself, very, very, around those days, go and have a good massage, go and, enjoy the five senses. Let's focus on the good side of that in a very healthy way, that we enjoy life with the beautiful earthliness that it has for us. And to get real and to get raw, right? Real and raw is also a very Taurian energy. Now, what is going on in the rest of the chart? It always shows, okay, we can have this beautiful full moon in Taurus, and let's enjoy ourselves. Let's validate also ourselves, and let's get back to the balance between the validation of ourselves and validation of other people. Let's redo this balance. But what is going on behind the scenes, you could say, with the other planets? Well, it's pretty intense. It's pretty intense and it's pretty platonic, which is a bit the opposite energy of Taurus, because it's rule of Venus. its ruler Venus is actually going towards a square to Pluto. Now, this is a whole different story. This is a very intense, transformative time for ourselves, for what we value, Venus, but also for our relationships. This is a now or never moment that we have. This is an opportunity that we have. And so Venus will be at the very end of Libra during this day, which is around and about 29 degrees of Libra, 28 degrees of Libra. So it's almost at the end, and Venus is in its own sign there. But it's a couple of days after that, Venus is going to jump into Scorpio, right? So 28 degrees, 29 degrees of Libra, and then it goes into 0 degrees of Scorpio, where it's going to bump into Pluto. It's going to make a square to Pluto, who is in Aquarius now at 1 degree. Yeah, 1 degree of Aquarius. So that is a Venus square Pluto. Already when it's in Libra, it's already starting with its square to Pluto. Now, this is the dark side of Venus, right? It's not a bad side of Venus. It's not like, oh, a Venus square Pluto, or which is a bit the energy of a Venus in Scorpio. That's not having a bad Venus because Venus is in Scorpio in its detriment. No, it's just a bit alternative. It has to do a little bit more work to understand what it's all about. And Venus square Pluto. Pluto is the planet of fear and control in the downside, but in the good side, it's empowerment. It's taking your power back. It's taking your value back. So this is all about validate you. Validate you. And don't go for the pitfall of external validation. That is what this video is all about. This is a wake-up call. Venus square Pluto is really about a very intense, strong desires, right? Venus is also a desire planet. So when it bumps into, and when it's in Libra, you know, Venus just wants to relate in Libra. It wants to be fair. It wants to be, having a good time, having nice talking, connecting with people, very air energy. But when it bumps into Pluto, and especially a day or 2 days after when it bumps into Scorpio squaring Pluto, it is the dark side of Venus, which is relationships, taboo relationships, the dark side of Venus, basically, right? It is possessiveness. It is, how do you say that? Obsession. I'm saying here, it's more the extreme side of Venus. Venus in Scorpio is not about, oh yeah, I like this, I want fairness. No, it's I like you or I don't like you. I want you or I don't want you. I hate the job. I love the job. And it's a bit more to the extreme and a little bit more dark in a sense that it kind of likes a bit the taboo. And it's attracted to that. And not because it's a bad person or a bad influence or a bad atmosphere or a bad vibe. No, because it wants to break through something. Those attractions. So we are going to feel this, right? Depending on where it is in your chart, Venus square Pluto is typically feeling strong attractions, feeling strong chemistry, attracted to, maybe people who are not available or who socially it is taboo, whatever taboo is for you, right? Socially it is a bit taboo there. There's going to be more that vibe because it's, of course, very intense when you fall in love with a person, for instance, that is absolutely not right for you, right? It's that kind of vibe. But what does it all say? This shadow side of Venus, this external, well, what is it all saying? It is showing us the lesson, or you could say the breakthrough that we all have when we kind of understand that external validation that we want, it's an open door for toxicity, right? Venus square Pluto can become very toxic. If you're not aware of it, it's drama and it's, multiplied. And why? Because there is something that wants to be healed. This is Scorpio energy, Plutonian energy. It's, for instance, in a relationship, typically, and some of us have been gone through that, and some others know definitely a person who has gone through that, a Venus-Pluto kind of story or a Venus-Scorpio kind of story, that you fall for someone and you really want them, and it's all about the chase. Before you know it, you're doing things that actually you are, and you think it's love, but it's not. So that is Venus square Pluto. That's in a lower vibration, definitely not love. It's ego. It's, I want that validation. I want that person who sees me. And it's the chase. I exaggerate now, but this is Venus Pluto. The positive side of Venus Pluto is true love, deep love, true connection, intimacy. So that is lying underneath it. It's also very sexual energy, Venus square Pluto. Right? And in Scorpio, it's seductive, very seductive, manipulative energy there. And you can look at it as, you could say, ooh, but you better embrace it and understand it so that you can deal with it better. Right? So we all know that story of someone who really is throwing themselves, male or female, it doesn't matter. You can see this pattern. This is a pattern, by the way, that we're going to see a lot during this full moon. And a pattern about the dark side, which is manipulation, which is trying to seduce. But what you start with seduction ends mostly in destruction, right? Because you're not being real. You're not being real. You're trying to not get the love of a person, but the validation of a person. And if you get the validation of a person, that is really something that, like an addictive person, right? Like a drug addict is getting, that's just a dopamine hit, right? So watch out. We are all having this energy in our chart, and some going to have it in work, and others going to have it in different situations, not all in love, but I just give this example because it's the easiest to explain, right? So watch out and ask yourself, if you have a strong desire for something, is it that dopamine hit that you're after, that external validation, right? That, or are you seeing it? And it is a call. So if you have that feeling of say, I'm after this, well, then it is a call to validate you, to look at yourself, to get back to the self again. Taurus is getting back to yourself and to trust, right? Venus square Pluto is trust issues. And, but it's not doing that to, if someone has that in a natal chart, it's not that these people, they are learning how to trust through these processes, right? Through these processes of betrayal and distrust, and to come to the energy of, okay, people who were born with this aspect in former lives, we cannot trace this, I know, but in former lives, they were on both sides. The betrayed, the someone who betrayed, and someone who was betrayed. So it's that energy of, I want to be special, I want to be the first violin, but that is just because of the ego. It's not because of true love, right? So what we're learning here is really opening up to true vulnerability, to true connection with someone. And you can only have a true connection with someone if you're being real, if you're being vulnerable. If you're saying like, look, I really like you, and you know what? If it's not, it's not. I love you so much that if you're not choosing me, I'm going to be awful, but it is what it is. And I'm not going to see that personal. I'm not going to see it as a personal attack, That's the most beautiful thing, but it's also the hardest thing to do, because how can you get not personal if someone rejects you? And remember, here is the saying, rejection is God's protection. That is so true for Venus square Pluto people, and now we're all going to have that energy of attracting someone in our lives, or being attracted to a certain desirable job, for instance, that we think, we need to have this particular job. If you feel that, watch out. It's something in you that needs to be healed. And this is this full moon with moon in Taurus, sun in Scorpio, healing energy around the self-acceptance. Why do you have to chase? You don't have to chase love. You don't have to chase love at all, because that's mostly, it's not love, right? Love has to be there or it's not there. And that's it. And that's what we are learning through this beautiful energy of a Venus square Pluto, a Venus in Scorpio, the ruler of this full moon that is bumping into Scorpio. This is intense energy. And although it lasts a couple of days, you're going to feel it maybe a week before that and a week after that. So our value is very much challenged here. And it's about validating you, right? It's about understanding that if a person is not seeing you, it's a kind of a protection more than anything else, and trusting the universe that that is not your path. It's easier said than done, I know, but the more you try to cling and to chase, the worse it's going to get. Even with a job, you know, those people who really are needy, you know, you need the dopamine. I need to get this job. I need to have this sales done. You send out energy of, I don't trust it actually. And that's why I need it so much, because I don't trust it. So the whole key thing here is learning how to trust. It's learning how to let go. And that is a process. You can't just force yourself to let go. It's a process that you have to go through. And this is an amazing process, because when you do, when you are aware of this, when you say, oh, I'm not going to chase it, I'm going to do my best and let God do the rest, then you're powerful. Then who are the most powerful people? Exactly the ones who don't need anything. The ones who, and I'm exaggerating now a little bit, but I mean, the ones who are saying, hey, you know, I like that. I have a desire, Venus. I like that. But if it's not going to be for me, okay. Those are powerful people, aren't they? Because they are secure in themselves. So this is all a call to secure the self, to be self-confident. And, you know, and especially for younger people, but not only for younger people, but like young people as well, during these days with all the social media and the comparison of, oh yes, but they have blonde hair and that's more beautiful. I'm going to put my hair in blonde because then person XYZ is going to see me. You know, it's all that kind of stuff that is so manipulative, that is so not real. Venus square Pluto in Scorpio wants you to be real. So get real, dear astro friends, and you're going to be fine. You're going to be so authentic. This is a call for authenticity. This is a call for realness. This is a call for not falling into the trap of the short dopamine hit, right? It's something deeper. And the ones who want that validation, they are craving connection, right? This is all about connection, by the way. And it's good to know. It's good to understand, oh, I crave connection, but then it shows that why I'm disconnected with the self, right? If you're craving that from outside of you, you're disconnected with the self. So it's good to get into the body, right? I'm not kidding with these massages and all of that. It's good. Treat yourself with, you know, something like that. It's going to help people out. Anyway, where is this beautiful full moon falling in your chart? I'm going to do this very rapidly. And I'm going to also mention very shortly where this Venus square Pluto is, where you are transforming your values. So for Aries people, this is happening in your second house, this full moon. So something becomes clear that has to do with your money, that has to do with your assets, that has to do with your value for sure. And those of you who've worked very hard around securing themselves better, and I mean with this balance between your validation and others, this is going to be the fruits that you're going to see. Venus is in the 8th house. It's going to jump into Scorpio in your 8th house, squaring Pluto in the 11th. So there is like a very strong power, a true power for you by being very real and vulnerable with friends, with like-minded people. So to get real there could be some story unfolding around the friendship or around the connection that needs to go through this transformation, so that you know what is going on here and not kidding yourself or others kidding you. Very beautiful, because it can attract more intimacy for you, right? Taurians, of course, the whole introduction is for you. This is all about you. This is all about your needs versus another person's needs and the balance of that. It's all about balance, this full moon, between your validation and another person's validation. You can't just 90% invest in another person and you only get 10%. No, you can't just give 10% and expect 90%. That's not going to work. So it's about that validation and about the balance. Venus is Scorpio, is going to be in your 7th house as well. So you're going to be in that house of other people. So that wish for deep connection, for sure. And it squares up to Pluto in your 10th house. So for those of you who work, it can be connected to work, can be connected to a business partner where there is a bit of a power struggle going on, right? So be aware of that, of not falling into that trap of the chase that I was talking about in the introduction. But it can also mean if you're not working, or it could mean that you're getting more empowered. You're getting more real, and you want to be more real in the world, and someone is showing that to you, even if you're single. Geminis, this is in your 12th house, this full moon. So this is truly for you an opportunity to relax, an opportunity to have those massages and those nice baths and with beautiful soaps and whatever, to spoil yourself and to reload the batteries. It's a very good time, if you can, of course, find that opportunity to do so. And it's, of course, also about the balance of work and your life routines and your day-to-day life versus the healthy relaxing and finding that balance. Venus is going to be in Scorpio in the 6th house, squaring Pluto in the 9th. So this is really your work, your day-to-day life, your habits, your health as well, to kind of transform this in a way that with the mind, with having like really truthful understanding of your belief system. Cancerians, this is very lovely for you, this energy, because it's a sextile. Taurus is a sextile to your energy, and Cancer trines the Scorpio energy. So you're having this in your 11th house. Go out there, have some fun with friends around that time, with like-minded people, that you feel that you are truly, they're truly supporting you and you are supporting them. On another level, this could mean you doing something, if you have your own business, when it comes to resources and income from your own business, that could be something becoming very clear for you. And Venus is going to be in Scorpio in your 5th house. So very romantic energy here, but again, very intense energy, right? So listen to the introduction, what this energy is all about. But this Venus in the 5th is squaring Pluto in the 8th. So this is a bit dark, but remember, this Scorpio energy trines your energy. So you will be well and understanding this and transforming this. But it could mean a person that catches your eye who is very intense, and there's a transformation going on, a deep understanding, and a possibility for more intimacy in your life. But also the 5th house is the house of children and the house of creation. So there could be a call for you to create more from the real, authentic you. Leos, this is happening at the top of your chart. So for a lot of Leos, it's gonna be like, okay, this is the fruits that we're gonna see here from hard work in the career, from the life career balance. There is some sort of a restoration here, or something that becomes very clear that you want to focus on, and about the quality that you want to do, the realness of the career, almost, you could say. For other people, this is really about becoming very clear how you want to be seen in the world. Now, this Venus is in your 4th house in Scorpio, squaring Pluto in the 7th. So there could be some challenges here coming up for you around home and a person, a romantic person or a business partner, that there is like a tiny little bit of some power struggle going on for you. between values, right? So watch the introduction because I explained there in depth what it's those values, what this is all about. But there's definitely for you a very important time, and specifically if you have Leo planets around 13 degrees, you're going to feel this very much. So it's getting real about also your emotions and what you love to feel secure. I mean, on the emotional level. And these things can come up. Virgo's really nice for you. I mean, you're a fellow earth sign, and Taurus is also an earth sign. So you are going to have the easier energy with this full moon, and it's in your 9th house. So something can become very clear when it comes to your mindset, the things how you see life. It could also mean something that comes up, that comes to a fruition around studies or teachings, learnings. There could be a travel going on. There could be a connection with someone from abroad. And it really highlights this very positive energy for you. Venus will be in your 3rd house in Scorpio, also sextiling your energy. So again, this is going to be lighter for you. And it's squaring Pluto in the 6th. So this is about your thoughts. This is about how you communicate at work. There could be at work or with people that are working for you, some power struggles going on. So watch out for that. On another level, this is about if you have your own business, for instance, how to do this in a new way, how to marketing in a new way, how to reset that. But it can also mean a short trip that you want to take for your work, for instance, and that demands a little bit of adjustment there. That demands an adjustment of values, you could say. Librans, of course, you're also ruled by Venus, and so you're going to feel this Venus square Pluto also. But let's start with the full moon. For you, it's in your 8th house. So this is a very deep, intense house with the moon there. It means a transformation for sure. This has to do with what I was saying in the beginning, in the introduction. This has to do with intimacy. This has to do with resources that you share with another person. So there could be something becoming very clear around your money versus someone else's money, the money that you share with a romantic partner or even a business partner. Something needs to be cleared out here, restoring the balance, which is a good thing, but it's a very beautiful opportunity for you to get real and to be raw and real and true to yourself and also with another person. Because this Venus here that bumps into Scorpio is going to be in your 1st house, really, at the very end of Libra, but it's going to jump a couple of days after this full moon into Scorpio, this Venus, and squaring up to Pluto in your 5th. So this is about your values. This is about, are you, and also the 5th house is your heart house. So it could mean love pops up, right? There's a love story here unfolding, but does it match your values? Do you have to lower your values in order to have this love story, right? And of course, you know the answer. What is best to do? Is it good to lower your bar? It's up to you, the answer. But on another level, this could mean that there is a bit of a power struggle with a child, could be that as well. Or a bit of a struggle there between a hobby, maybe making too much expenses for it, and so on. So there's a restoration and getting real around a topic like that. Scorpios. So Scorpio, this is of course for you very, very important. If you have planets between 13 degrees of Scorpio, you're going to feel this very strongly. And so watch the introduction for sure, because this is all happening in your 7th house of relationships. So something becomes clear in a relationship. Something becomes clear between the restoration of the balance between your validation of yourself, the sun there in your sign, opposing someone else's needs. So either you have given too much or you have taken too much. There is a bit of a disbalance here. And my goodness me, I'm so sorry for the going, this is literally not in a balance. I'm going to restore it. And there you have it. There you have it. So very intense energy for you, but you know that these intense energies are needed to transform. And this Venus in your sign, it shows all that the love for you. And it squares to Pluto in your 4th house. So this is an invitation for you. I think most of you Scorpios, there's going to be something that is out of balance around how you see yourself, right? Maybe you indeed want to chase, but that is because you don't love yourself enough. Well, then that is your call for more love to the self. Or maybe you are giving too much and sacrificing yourself. I know a lot of people think that this is not a Scorpio thing, but it is. I know a lot of Scorpio or people with Scorpio energies who sometimes they sacrifice themselves. It's a bit of that typical, and what is lying beneath it is the worthiness of the self, right? So see this as an invitation for more emotional stability, for more truthfulness and calmness around the self. It's very beautiful. And even if you're not in a relationship, it's all about the validation of you and the transformation. Also, you could change something with your looks, right? The Venus in the 1st house. Very interesting. Sagittarians, this is happening in your 6th house. So this is all about your lifestyle, your day-to-day life. Something becomes clear here around your work, around the things that you do, and about that balance between work and letting go and relaxing, where the Scorpio energy is in your 12th house. And it's a lot about you want quality in the work, you want quality foods, you want to have a better lifestyle, basically. And now you're going to see the rewards if you've done, typically if you wanted to achieve that, you're going to see here the results. And this Venus that is shifting from your 11th house to the 12th house, squaring up to Pluto in the 3rd, is an opportunity for you to also to let go of love that isn't really, how would I say, it's one-sided, for instance, or there's a love that you have for someone and, it's not possible. Listen to the introduction because it's all about this unrequited love and what this is all about and why. There is an opportunity for you to kind of feel it intensely and then to release it. On a totally other level, if you're saying, Veerle, I'm not feeling those intense energy for anyone, it could mean an opportunity for you here to, through your words and through how you speak and through the knowledge that you have, to kind of help others and to help the ones who are really, really in need. I mean, that is a huge opportunity because the 12th house is also the house of, doing something for people in need. And what a beautiful opportunity this is. But I think it has to do more, not with the practical stuff like, helping other people out with resources or whatnot. No, it's more around words and around teachings and learnings and whatnot. But it's also a good time for you to have some down time with yourself and to go around the seaside and do a nice walk and to kind of reload your batteries. Capricorns, this is beautiful. Beautiful. Taurus is an earth sign. You are an earth sign. This is happening in your 5th house, which is like something culminates in the house of love, in the house of children, in the house of your hobbies. This is beautiful. It can mean like something becomes very clear around a child, something becomes very clear around a hobby, and that there is a balance between what your uniqueness is and how you get along with other people, right? The like-minded people that there are. There might be a disbalance that you, for instance, listen too much to your friends and that you have to restore that balance, right? The balance between this Taurus and Scorpio energy, that you have to get back to your own heart, basically. Venus is shifting into your 11th house, again, the house of friends, squaring to Pluto in the 2nd house. There could be a story there unfolding around values with friends or maybe romantic feelings that a friend or you are having. And there's this taboo atmosphere going on there. Could be that as well. Like I explained this in the introduction. or a friend going through a very, very intense time. On another level, when you have your own business, this could mean a new way. You're transforming a new way around how you do social media, for instance, and it demands a bit of an effort for you to not try to chase too much, but also to transform and to trust that you can improve these things. Aquarians, this is happening at the root of your chart, which is the deepest part of your chart, the fourth house. When you have planets around 13 degrees, you're going to feel this very strongly. So it is this moon in your fourth house that has to do with your security, your emotional security, that is. Literally, it's your home, your family, but it's also your emotions. So there is a restoration going on between your emotions, your home, how you relax at home, and your work, right? It could be too much of one or the other, too much of validation of one above the other. And now you have an opportunity to kind of see the balance of these two. And Venus is in your 10th house at the top of your chart, squaring Pluto in the first. So you could be having power struggles at work, at career. There could be a person that is really getting under your skin, but it's all about not falling for these manipulative tricks, or you yourself not wanting to manipulate either. Because as I said in the introduction, with this energy, it's going to backfire. So you want to stand, if you want to have something in your career to grow, this is an opportunity for you. But the thing is, what you desire, you trust, you do your best, and God does the rest. Otherwise, it'll get ugly. You don't want that. Could also mean romance at the workplace, which is a bit taboo for you, for instance. Not that it is a taboo thing, but it can be taboo at some level. And that there is a truthfulness that needs to come out here. Pisceans, this is happening in your third house, this Taurian energy, and the Scorpio sun is in a fellow water sign. So for you, this is easy energy. And there is something coming to fruition in your third house, which is the house of your understanding, your logic, your communication, maybe a short trip that you're doing, something that you're teaching, you're learning. And there's a culmination of that. A culmination of understanding something, a skill, something that you've learned, and that is really, really hands-on for you. Now, this Venus is in Scorpio in your 9th house, so a fellow water sign, and this is beautifully trining your energy. So you could be traveling, you could be understanding someone abroad, and that is really, really important for you, but it squares Pluto in the 12th house. So there could be a person that there is a bit of an intense love story behind it, or it is something that you want to achieve that has to do with publishing and that has to do with writing and teaching and learning. On another level, this means your belief system. There is something about your belief system that is shifting and transforming, and because of that, you kind of understand yourself better. Beautiful energy for you, for sure. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. I wish you all the best with this beautiful Taurian energy. If you want readings, click the link below to have a look at my website, where there's different readings that you can order. And I wish you all the best. Bye-bye.